Train A to Z. A Margosaurus was a giant sauropod with 2 rows of spines down its back. The spines may have been attached to one another by skin, creating the appearance of a huge sail on its back. While a Margosaurus looked like other sauropods with its long neck and small head, it was very unique. It had 2 rows of tall spines down its neck and back. Brachiosaurus had longer front limbs than hind limbs. Many paleontologists think that it held its neck straight up like a modern giraffe to reach leaves high in the trees. Brachiosaurus fossils were found in both North America and Africa. This enormous sauropod was very slow-moving, slower than any carnivore of its time. Cryolophosaurus was discovered on the southern continent of Antarctica. Today, Antarctica is extremely cold and icy, but during the age of the dinosaur, Antarctica was much warmer with lush green forest. Cryolophosaurus was a relatively large dinosaur that grew up to 25 feet long. It probably walked on its hind legs, had small forearms, and might have resembled Allosaurus. Daspletosaurus lived in North America during the late Cretaceous period. It is closely related to its much larger cousin, Tyrannosaurus. Recent research shows that Daspletosaurus and other tyrannosaurs grew quite slowly when small, then went through a major growth spurt in their teen years. Eoraptor lived during the Triassic period and is one of the oldest known dinosaurs. It belongs to a group of dinosaurs called theropods, which also includes the Tyrannosaurus. Eoraptor's hands had 5 digit-like fingers. The 3 middle digits were the longest and had large claws that were helpful in handling prey. Fabrosaurus was a plant-eating dinosaur that lived in Africa during the Jurassic time period. Like many other dinosaur herbivores, Fabrosaurus had a beak up front for grabbing plants and teeth behind for slicing them up. Gallimimus was a theropod dinosaur that lived in Asia during the Cretaceous time period. Just like ostriches, Gallimimus were fast runners. Hadrosaurus was a duck-billed hadrosaur that lived in North America during the Cretaceous time period. The name Hadrosaurus means sturdy lizard. It was the first dinosaur to have its skeleton mounted in a museum. One of the first dinosaurs discovered, Iguanodon, was a large dinosaur that lived in Europe during the early part of the Cretaceous time period. Iguanodon hands were like tools. The middle 3 fingers used for support. The long and slender pinky probably for grasping items. The thumb was like a spike for fighting or gathering food. Jaxartosaurus is closely related to other crested hadrosaurs like Corythosaurus and Parasaurolophus. Jaxartosaurus had a big helmet-like crest that was probably used for showing off, making noise, and recognizing members of its own kind. Kentrosaurus was a relatively small armored stegosaur dinosaur from the late Jurassic time period. The plates of Kentrosaurus were too small to be used for controlling body temperature. They were most likely used for display. The tail spikes could have been used as weapons against predators. Lizotosaurus was a small 3-foot-long dinosaur from the early Jurassic time period. It was named after the country Lesotho in South Africa, where the first fossil remains were found. Lizotosaurus had small serrated and pointed front teeth along the jaw that looked like arrowheads and were well suited for chewing plants. Its head was small with large eye sockets. Maiasaura was a duck-billed dinosaur named the Good Mother because some paleontologists think it looked after its babies after they hatched. Unlike the large hollow crests of Corythosaurus, Lambeosaurus, and Parasaurolophus, Maiasaura had a small solid crest that was not used for hooting. Nodosaurus was a plant-eating armored dinosaur or ankylosaur that lived in North America during the Cretaceous time period. Its name means knobbed lizard. Nodosaurus moved around slowly on 4 legs. Unable to run away from predators, it probably used its bony armor for protection. Oryctodromeus used its arms and snout to dig burrows for protection and care for their young. Burrowing allowed these dinosaurs to live in areas with extreme weather conditions. Oryctodromeus was a bipedal herbivore that lived in the Cretaceous time period. Scientists discovered this dinosaur in a burrow, which was something never before associated with dinosaurs. Parasaurolophus is one of the rarer duckbills, with a large elaborate crest on its head that functioned as a visual recognition of its species. With its narrow beak, Parasaurolophus was probably a selective grazer, able to pick up and choose the plant parts it wanted to eat. Some of these plants might have included pine needles, twigs, and leaves. Quantosaurus is a 2-legged plant-eating dinosaur that lived in Australia during the Cretaceous time period. Living close to the South Pole, the large eyes of the Quantosaurus may have helped this herbivore see better during months of darkness each winter. Rabdodon was a 2-legged plant-eating dinosaur that lived in Europe during the Cretaceous time period. Rabdodon belongs to the same group of dinosaurs as Iguanodon and the duck-billed Corythosaurus. Stygimoloch had a super thick skull. Some scientists think that this animal used its head to bump the sides of other Stygimoloch. Although the horns of the Stygimoloch looked fierce, they were most likely used as a way to intimidate other members of the group. Troodon was a small bipedal dinosaur with a big brain, which probably made it one of the smartest dinosaurs around. Troodon eye sockets are extremely large, which is characteristic of nocturnal animals, those that see and hunt in the dark. Troodon eyes were forward-facing, which meant they could see things far away. Utahraptor was a fast-running theropod that lived in North America during the Cretaceous time period. Utahraptor grew to over 30 feet long. Velociraptor is a small feathered dinosaur that lived during the Cretaceous. It's only been found in Asia and lived in a desert habitat with sand dunes. Velociraptor was a bipedal feathered dinosaur that shared many of the same features as modern birds. It's most known for its long tail and large claws that stuck out from the back of each hind leg. Oneonosaurus was a pachycephalosaur dinosaur that lived in Asia during the Cretaceous time period. Oneonosaurus grew to be just over 3 feet long, which makes it one of the smallest dinosaur herbivores known. Xenotarsosaurus was a theropod dinosaur that lived in South America during the Cretaceous time period. The name Xenotarsosaurus means strange ankle lizard because its ankle bones are different from most theropods. Yangchuanosaurus was a theropod dinosaur that lived in Asia. With plenty of sharp teeth in their jaws, they would have been amazing predators. Yangchuanosaurus was a theropod dinosaur that lived in Asia during the Jurassic time period. Like its close cousin Quetzalcoatlus, Zhejiangopterus was a giant flying reptile or pterosaur. Unlike other pterosaurs, Zhejiangopterus did not have a crest or upright bone structure on the back of its head. It was larger than most pterosaurs, with a wingspan of over 16 feet wide.